Alright. I think I started that. Fun little fact here. I'm actually recording this one before I record the voiceovers for the first 1 or 2 videos that I put on my channel. Because I already recorded those, but then I lost the recordings, and I didn't feel like doing them again, so that is why. I'll just assume I did the polite thing and introduced myself already in those. Let's get right into this. So, Draconified Mipha. It's funny because I actually, almost quit right off the bat. I mean, you'll see that in a minute here. But I started off by just getting a couple references collected up here, putting a little note sheet together to try and figure out what design elements were kind of a commonality among all the dragons. And I assume Varash, Nadra, and Dinral are Draconified Zonai. I mean, the Zonai just kind of looked like they were designed based off of the dragons. So, you know, that's what I'm assuming. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm writing here. I have better quality video this time, so I can actually see what I'm looking at when I'm narrating on it. I noticed that the noses were, like, definitely upturned, especially you can see Ganondorf's, because he has a big nose. And, like, shortened on their face a little bit. With Zelda, it's just basically completely smooth. Like, she doesn't have an extra part where the nose, like, it's just kind of flush with her face. But Zelda has a pretty small nose anyway. So as the light dragon, I mean, it makes sense. All the eyes are basically the same shape. It's just a difference in color, pupil, all that stuff. So that's something fun I can play with. Right off the bat, I wanted to have, like, shark eyes with the big iris, and then, like, sclera, very small at the sides. And then, of course, a couple extra, like, irises, because it's dragons, right? What am I looking at here? I'm looking at Ganondorf. Look at that ugly face. He looks like a T-Rex. I noticed that. He is designed based off of a T-Rex. Zelda almost is like canine, like almost dog-like. Not really, but it's the closest thing I could think of, because it's not like your classic dragon style that I've seen. And the Zonai dragons, assumedly so, look like goats. You'll see me write all this down in a minute here. Another design element is I noticed that the scales on their faces looked different. Like, you can see on the Zonai, the scales are almost like octagonal. I don't know how to say that word. Hectagonal, octagonal. Like, you can see that they have more, like, geometric tiled shapes. On Zelda's face, you can see here, they're a lot smaller. And more like roof shingles, almost. And then Ganondorf's are just really rocky looking. They're a little more close to the Zonai, but much more pronounced. And that was going to be interesting to take into account, because being a Zora, you're kind of like a fish, and they have scales too, right? But the Zora are more like a shark, with their texture, at least, in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because they're very smooth. Like, they've got that scale pattern that is so small you can't even see it, right? The hair was also really difficult. You'll see what I did for that when we get to it. I don't want to jump ahead of myself here. But all these characters have hair, and that translated to hair on the dragons. Oh my gosh, trying to figure out the hair for Mipha, that was not easy. I love Ganondorf's little puffball tail. Look at that. I would totally make fun of him for that if I were in the game. If I were Link, I'm just saying, he wouldn't be able to understand me because he'd already been Draconified. But I would be making fun of him the whole time. I will say, I was not expecting it. I should have been expecting it when I got to that boss battle. And he has spoilers, but I presume you expected that. If you don't want spoilers, go play the game and then come back sometime, right? It's such a good game. Don't rush through it like I did. I rushed through it in a week because my friend spoiled it for me. That was horrible. Oh my god, the game wasn't horrible. My friend is horrible. I'll never forgive him, but the game was so good. But anyway, I wasn't expecting him to do that, to Draconify at the end. I really don't know what I was expecting, but that was not it. I absolutely should have expected that. I should have seen that coming. I mean, that just seems so, like, oh yeah, of course he would do that. I mean, it's a huge plot point in the game. I did not expect it. And then we got eaten. And I'm just here wondering what all the sages were thinking. because that would be really funny. I just want to see the little aftermath with the sages after they've seen Link, the one and only hero of Hyrule, get eaten by the demon dragon that is literally made of malice. So I mean, like, he's screwed. He took his arm in the first place. That was his whole body. Link's so lucky, dude. And then, like, you know, flown up through the ceiling, and then they're left down there. Only one of them has wings, Tolan, and he's a 12-year-old. Like, he's a little kid. He's not gonna be able to carry a Nobo up out of there. Probably none of them. So they must have had an amusing little conversation down in the pits of the deepest depths of Hyrule after that situation. Personally, I might have thrown in the towel, and this is why I'll never be a sage. I wonder if Minoru was able to use her Minoru powers to teleport them out of there or something. I wonder how they got out. How did they get there in the first place? It was funny, because when I was going down there, I was so mad. I wanted to kill Ganondorf. I was a one-shot the entire time. It took me a couple hours to get through that boss fight, because I was literally a one-shot since getting through the army, because I was not prepared. I did not have a lot of hearts. The first time I tried to go down there, I didn't even have all the towers of the map unlocked. And I realized, wait a minute, I should probably at least do that before finishing the game, right? Because I was rushing through all the main quests after my friend spoiled it for me. I did not understand what he meant when he said, oh, Zelda's the dragon. Because when I first started playing the game, I don't know why I was so stupid. I guess it was because I was running on zero sleep the whole week I was playing it, because I was there at the midnight release, and I did not stop playing it for 5 days straight. Okay, I did not see the menu screen until it forced me out of the game in like 5 days, because they had some sort of patch or something, a quick little download, but I had to close the game for it to download the patch before I could go back in. That was the first time I saw the menu screen. Okay. But yeah, I rushed through that game in a week, and I never noticed that there was a new dragon until literally the very last Dragon's Tear cutscene. That's the first time that I, in my brain, saw the light dragon. Every time before that, even at the very beginning where she's floating around, I mean, it looks so obvious now, but I thought it was Natura. I'm an idiot. It wasn't even the same color. I thought it was Natura. Even on the one cutscene when she flies super close, I thought it was Natura. Like, I'm so stupid. I'm actually dumb. I did not get the Master Sword until I got through the Dragon's Tear memories, though. Pretty sure. I'm trying to remember now. But that would have given me an up close, too. So I didn't, yeah. No, I didn't get the Master Sword until after I finished the Dragon Tears, I remember now. So in my defense, but I literally didn't notice that there was an entirely new dragon. When he said she was the dragon, I thought she turned into nature, like nature was Zelda the whole time, because wisdom, right? Triforce of wisdom. But I'm like, but who are the other ones? But I don't know. Man, that broke my heart. I felt actual grief during that cutscene. I'm like, why am I feeling grief? I'm just a player. I'm just playing the game. I felt it, though. I was going through it. Okay, anyway, back to the actual task at hand. You can see me making my notes here, and I couldn't decide if I wanted it to be based more off of a dolphin, a shark, or a whale for just kind of the silhouette of Mipha's dragon. Because I feel like she looks more like a dolphin. You can see with like her brother Sidon that the inspiration probably mostly comes from a shark, though. So that was a contender. But then a whale, you know, their dad's a whale, Dorphin, and I'm like, what would the overarching design be? Because like all Zora Draconified would look very similar. I mean, all Zonai Draconified look very similar. Nature, Farash, Dinral. So I wanted the silhouette to be like the same between any Draconified Zora, besides the horns and stuff, right? Besides the stuff that's already customizable on the other ones. So I couldn't decide which one of those to go with. I tried to just combine them all. You can see how successful I was at that, but I am happy with the final silhouette, sort of. I wanted at least like under the chin to have that sort of whale silhouette. I don't know. Okay, and we're back. I forgot to turn off the audio for one of my parts of the video there, so oops. I had to go back and redo that part. Because you could hear it on my microphone and it would be really annoying to have that reduplicating. Also, sorry for my voice. Just know that I have to listen to it more than you do, so I'm suffering more. Honestly, it's probably just because it's really late. It's, 2:10 a.m.? But I'm feeling like like a runny throat. Not good. Anyway, poor Mipha. Always so sad. I feel like a Draconification plotline would be fitting for someone so sad, because it's just so very sad, man. Anyway, here's my first attempt at a silhouette. You're gonna see this one's not gonna last very long. I'm never too good at making the sketch layer, anyway. Is that what I call it? Yeah, the sketch layer. What is this? It looks like an alligator. Ooh. That being said, hold on to that for me, because alligator might be like a really good inspiration to draw from for like a Zora Draconified. This is a Zora. A Goron Draconified or something. Think about that. Or a crocodile. I mean, they're not the same, but they look very similar. A crocodile would be really good for that. Ooh. I hope I don't forget that next time if I make more of the champions Draconified. You may be wondering why I'm going with the champions instead of the sages. And my answer to that is that, I don't know. I just felt like it. Also, well, I don't want to say I just wanted to make Urbosa eventually, because I love Riju too. Like, Riju's fantastic, and she thoroughly appreciates seals, even though they're kind of walruses in the game, but they're called seals, right? Which is just perfect. And you know what, when I was a little kid, I really liked the name Patricia. For no reason. I just really like those old-timey sounding names. Patricia, Edith, Judith, Gertrude, like old lady names. I still do. Tabitha. Gosh, I'm a sucker for those names. But, so I approve of her naming of her sand seal. Oh, here I go. A better sketch. See, that first sketch? I made that first sketch, and I quit for a day, and then I came back to it. Hopefully it's moving so fast that it's seamless and not too jarring to see the transitions between all the many different recordings. I had 21 different recordings by the end of this, just the video recordings. So that was fun to sort through, but I mean, I can't just sit down and do this. Stuff takes days, because I can't sit down and do one thing for like 24 hours straight. That's not how I go. How many hours did it take me to do this all together? It was a lot of hours. Gosh, man. I needed to get into better hobbies. Instead, I got into all the hobbies that it's easy to burn out on really quickly. Except for coding. I never burn out on coding, but I haven't really done anything with that in ages, because that stuff still takes a long time. All my hobbies are such time-consuming things, gosh. Ooh. Yeah, here's where I started actually liking it. But for a while, I just felt like it looked more like Yona. But then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I wanted all the Zora to have that similar, like, base. If any of them were Draconified anyway. So just kind of trying to incorporate the look of Zora in general. I hope I did good, because that's kind of the idea I was going for. It ended up kind of snake-like, serpentine, like it looks like a frog-like almost. But I don't know, I liked it. Let's see, you can see I'm designing some spikies here. I'm sure you've seen Mipha's concept art, where she was a little lionfish. That was cute. I like what they ended up with better, but I just like, that's a cute idea, so I tried to incorporate that. When I was thinking, what type of horns would a fish have? Because antlers are very, nature, like on land, forest, right? Like lush woods, I'm like, what would a fish draw inspiration from? I didn't want to just go with a narwhal, because that could also be attributed to a unicorn, which I might want to use for someone else Draconified later, maybe. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, a porcupine fish. They got all those spines. And, well, I mean, her concept art was based off of like a lionfish, but they got spines. They got spines just like porcupine fish, not just like, but, similar look. So, that's what I ended up trying to go with. Oh gosh, this is really long. How long is this video? Goodness gracious, it's almost an hour long. Again. I hope you guys need to have some background blabbering, just to get stuff done on your own time, because I can't make it any shorter, or you literally can't see what brush strokes I'm making. I shouldn't make stuff so detailed, but I can't help myself. This is why I can never animate. I want to make animations look just as detailed as this, and I can't spend a week on like a frame. That wouldn't work, no. Oh goodness, I'm dying. Hold on. Never mind, I'm okay. I just inhaled some spit, but I'm fine. That's fine. Let's see here. And she's not got a very wide face. It's still kind of a slim face, the way the dragons are. Very aerodynamic looking. Maybe it's a wide one cut too. But anyway, it's hard to tell from this angle, but I just wanted to make that known. Just so you can kind of imagine her moving through the skies over Lanayru or something like that. Oh yeah, I should have probably mentioned this earlier. I'll probably mention it in the description or title somehow. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a professional. This is just for fun. And I don't have very good equipment. So digital art is probably the best you're gonna get for a while, because all my physical crafts, I have no good camera. And I have no good like traveling microphone, like to move around with me while I'm sewing stuff or anything like that. Like you could say, well, your phone camera's good enough. No, my phone camera, I swear it was not as crappy as it is now when I first got it. It's not an expensive phone at all. But I swear it was actually really good, and now it sucks. So I don't know what happened there. Like, the quality is just, like, bad. They must have updated the driver or something, made it bad. I don't know. On purpose to try and get me to get a new phone, but joke's on you. Android, I can't afford a new phone. I need one, though. I cracked the screen. Fixing the screen would be like $100 freaking. I may as well just get a new phone, because it's really old and slow and janky. And like I said, the camera is so bad. But oh yeah, this happened a couple times. Stuff disappears because I forgot to press record, and you couldn't even see what I did. Unfortunate. But anyway, hear me out. This little spot right here with the spines on the back of the head, it reminded me of a dragon I'd seen before. Oh yeah, that's right. The dragon from Enchanted. Look at that. That looks like the Zora crown, or the thing of the throne room. Look at it. It's like it was meant to be. It's beautiful. So, that's when I knew this is the perfect design that I came up with, and I shouldn't need to tweak it anymore. That doesn't last, but you probably don't even notice all the tweaks that I make, because only I notice the tiny little things that you'd have to zoom in, especially close to even see. But anyway, here I am, making some spines, and I feel like it looks kind of regal too. It looks kind of like a crown. She's a princess after all. Gosh, the eye is creeping me out. It looks like she's judging me. It's like that girl with the pearl earring eye, the way she's just kind of side-eyeing you, looking like, what shoes you got on? Like, I don't have shoes on right now, and you don't even wear shoes, Mipha. Chill out. You can't wear shoes. You're a dragon. But anyway, wow, I completely forgot that I was telling you about something, and I interrupted myself. This is not professional, but I'm not re-recording it because it's been days that I've been sitting on this footage, and it's 2:18 a.m., and I can't be bothered. But yeah, I made a little excerpt to describe a scenario in which Mipha might be Draconified, right? Be very interesting. I'm sure it would have been easier to do a scenario or something with the sages, considering they have secret stones already. But I decided I didn't actually think about that before I started designing her. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna make a little reading of my excerpt that I made to try and describe a scenario in which case she'd be Draconified. I wanted to make it a little more cinematic, a little more dynamic than just like speculating with you here, chatting all casually. So I tried to add music and sound effects and stuff like that. And I read the excerpt, like I actually wrote out as a script the excerpt. Because I think I mentioned before, well, I haven't mentioned it. I planned on mentioning it, but then again, lost the audio recording, so I'll have to remember to mention it now in the first video that I made. That writing was one of my hobbies. It's not my best work. I mean, you'll see, it's pretty generic, but that's okay. I usually don't write in like present tense form, but I felt like taking you along on the ride is better in present tense form, and that would be more appropriate with like telling the story of how she's Draconified as I'm like drawing her, you know what I mean? Like I wanted you to kind of follow along with it. Actually, you know what? I don't think it's too bad. I only did like one draft, but it's only 5 pages in Google Docs, so on a 14 font, so it's not like there's much room for error. Oh, look at that. I should probably explain what's going on here. So you know how she has those little frills under her shoulder pad fins, or whatever you call them? I don't know. They do look like shoulder pads. But she has those little frills on her, the blue and yellow ones. I'm like, that's the closest thing that she's got that looks like hair. So that's gonna be... Oh, yeah, I was using the wrong brush. I know you couldn't tell, but I could. But yeah, I'm like, that's the closest thing that looks like hair on her. So that's what I shall be doing for her hair. Because it just wouldn't look enough like the other dragons without some sort of hair type of deal going on. I'm still not too happy with the results design-wise. Like, I like how I drew it. I never have trouble with, like, hair stuff. That's the easy thing for me. It's everything else that's difficult. But I don't know. I just wouldn't know if that would actually make the cut. I'm thinking of, like, if I was a designer for the game, if this would actually be the final design that went into the game. Just because it looks a little too different from the other dragons. But again, they're Draconified from... Ooh! I knocked my cup holder over. Here we go. Sorry, cup holder. Sit there. Dang, my cup is empty. But, like, yeah, all the other people who are Draconified have hair already. This is not a species that doesn't, so this is going to be interesting. Well, with Daruk, I'm not going to have to worry about it. Daruk has hair. Or Bosa has hair. Rivali. I love how I'm already planning stuff that I haven't even started and might not even do, just because life is busy. The job market's terrible. And this stuff takes me so long. I don't know how long it's going to last before I burn out again for months. Because, let me tell you, I haven't drawn anything since, like, I should say, I haven't finished drawing anything since high school, maybe even before high school. Like, I never finish what I start. Not like a big, good drawing like this. Plenty of sketches and doodles. And, like, skin art and things like that. But, like, just a finished digital art piece. Man. I can't believe I actually finished 2 things in, like, 1 week. That doesn't happen. Hopefully I can keep that up, because I'd like to make a video game, and I'd like to make all the assets myself, because I am stupid. Instead of just buying an asset pack, adjusting things, I'm stupid. And I want to make literally every little, like, cup on a table myself, because I don't know why. But, yeah. And I do like making 2D games. I need to get into 3D games, because if I'm ever actually gonna be a game maker, I mean, that's a little bit necessary just to know in general, like, if I ever wanted to join a studio, which I would prefer. I hate working on my own schedule, like, being only motivated by my own schedule, because I'm not motivated and I'm tired all the time, so it's difficult for me to make myself get stuff done. But I don't know, you know, fun fact, I wrote a whole novel-length fan fiction on Wattpad when I was in middle school. It was an 8.5-hour read based off those Wattpad metrics or whatever. So if I died tomorrow, that would be the only thing I will have ever written that was an actual book. Like, it is the length of a novel. It's got so many chapters. I made sure I wrote a chapter a night. And you can tell, because it was all first drafts. I didn't go through a second draft, so it's filled with pacing issues, writing mistakes, grammar, all this other stuff that I didn't catch because I was writing it at 3 a.m. before I had to get up at 7 a.m. to go to school in middle school. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I did a chapter a night, and I finished it. So that's like the only finished book I will have ever made. It was a really terrible fanfiction. It was bad. It wasn't like gross or anything. It was just cringe. It was emo. It was very emo. Luckily, I never got on the horny stuff. But it was very emo. Everyone got depressed and like went through the phase where they're like, ugh, the world is my enemy. You know what I mean? Oh gosh. For a cartoon show that wasn't even good. Man. I really need to actually write like something else. I have plans for a book series that I want to make one day. I don't want to say anything on YouTube, but that's like my big world building project, just because I wouldn't want someone to steal the ideas and stuff like that. But I say that and it's probably never going to be finished, so it's always going to be stuck in my head unless I share it. So I don't know, maybe one day. But there's a book series in my head that I want to write, except it's just quite a big book series in my head. So it seems very intimidating, especially now because in my head I've gotten so far along the plot that I'm like not even wanting to start at the very beginning because I'm like, I already dealt with that. Like, no, I didn't. I haven't even written it. I've just been thinking about it. But anyway, I need to write something else because if I die tomorrow, I can't have that be like the only writing credit to my name. It's a Wattpad fanfiction. No good. I like that about Wattpad, though. It has, like, the copyright stuff automatically. That's pretty cool. It's just difficult to find good stuff sometimes. What even here? I'm making the little wiggly doodads on the side of the dragon. Man, I freaking love how the dragons look in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I never had any interest in dragons. No Game of Thrones dragons, no, like, Smaug dragons, Lord of the Rings. I never had any interest in dragons. Just didn't care. I loved How to Train Your Dragon when I was a kid, but they had really cool and creative designs, and even then I just liked the series as a whole, including the book series. Nothing like the movies, but that book series, fantastic. And it actually grew up with you. I actually was there to wait for the final books of those, like the final 3 books I think it was, to come out. So I was kind of part of the original fan base and the hype for that. Not gonna lie. But oh my gosh. That's a good book series for kids, honestly. I tackled some mature stuff later. And the fact that everything ties together when you think it wouldn't, but it does at the end. I recommend it, man. Sometimes I just listen to audiobook for that. It's a good kid series. But anyway. Besides that, I'm never like into dragons. I didn't want any dragons in my fantasy world building project that I was talking about. But then I played Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm like, this type of dragon can stay. This type of dragon is gorgeous. And tragic and awesome and beautiful. So I'm trying to figure out a way to incorporate sad, beautiful Japanese style dragons into the setting, and I think I've done it. I still need to find a way to incorporate it more into the story instead of just the world building, because it's not really relevant to anything that I ever have planned to happen, but we'll see what I can do one day. I love how I'm talking vaguely about a world building project none of y'all even know about. I am just rambling, to be honest. Let's see here. What am I looking at? I should have spent more time on the iris of the eye there. I just did that as a quick thing, and I ended up never changing it. But whatever. Yeah, sometime here we shall get to that little excerpt that I wrote, though. If I make more of these, I might make more excerpts, just because I think part of the fun is thinking about how such a dragon would be incorporated into the story. While I'm talking here, why not discuss what I think the sort of aura power of this dragon would be? Oh no, it's happened again. I forgot to press record and it skipped ahead. You can't even notice, but I noticed. But yeah. What was I thinking? This happens a lot. This is not like a 3 a.m. in the morning thing. This is an every day, every hour that I'm awake thing. Someone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, ADHD. And I'm gonna be totally honest, it's probably just because I have no brain stem. Probably. No, I swear I used to be able to focus on things, but I've become addicted to my phone, so that's really where the problem lies. I notice when I'm not listening to music or watching a video on the side or just anything else, and I'm working on something, I get stuff done. I actually just keep working on it and keep working on it, and I don't have a problem. It really is a phone addiction, but I like taking in information, so I gotta listen to a documentary or something while I'm working on things. I just gotta. Even though I don't gotta, I do. You know? But yeah, her power would definitely be aquatic. Maybe she'd be known as like the water dragon. Of course, her healing power is Mipha. The only stipulation I had with that was that Zelda's dragon parts. Let me finish this thought first. Okay. Zelda's dragon parts heal you as well when you use them to damage, at least. But I'm gonna just ignore that and say that, you know, she has this aura of healing and purification, the way that Sidon's powers work, like against the sludge, for example, in Tears of the Kingdom. Like if she were to go over one of those sludgy pools as a dragon, it would clean it. Or if like one of the sludged up Zora were to like have one of her scales or something, or make a potion out of it or something, they would be cleansed and purified and healed. So she's got like a very strong healing power, but it's very water based. That's a water dragon, right? Think of like an opal in the game. But anyway, the other thought that I was laughing about for a second there, I love telling people this, but technically Tears of the Kingdom is the first Zelda game where our Zelda is edible. That's right, because you can harvest dragon parts off of her and put them in an elixir, which you can then consume. So technically, you can eat Zelda in Tears of the Kingdom. And I just don't know any other Zelda games where you can do that. Everyone's talking about first playable Zelda. Sorry, the CDI Zelda was the first playable Zelda. Anyway, so Echoes of Wisdom wasn't even first playable Zelda. First canon game. But, first edible Zelda, I think that's a little more revolutionary. That's all. That's what I was waiting for. No, it wasn't. But it was just a little funny when I realized that, because no one else did. So I've been making an effort to tell absolutely everyone at every convention, because it's very cursed knowledge that you just, I have to spread that misery to other people as well. It's very important to me. Look at these little dragon hands. They're so funny. I hate that they have three fingers. Well, I get why they have 3 fingers and 1 thumb. But it always feels awkward, even on an animal drawing. Like 1 less digit than normal. And it's like a pet peeve of mine when I see people accidentally draw characters with like an extra finger, like maybe they're like holding something and they didn't realize that they just drew an extra line there, or missing a finger in like an illustration, even if it's part of like a huge illustration, no one else is gonna notice. I notice. I'm telling you, I notice. And this is why I never get anything done, because this perfectionism is useless to me. And yet, I can't shake it. Gosh, those scales took me forever to draw. It went by so fast on here. I kind of felt like worried when I was actually drawing them. Like, oh my gosh, most of this video is just going to be people seeing me draw these scales. That's not very fun. Well, it wasn't as long as I thought, but it felt very long when I was actually doing it. Oh, here I go. More scales. These designs kind of looked like raindrops or dewdrops or something, and they were very small scales. So I figured that's the design I'll go for, like on her face and stuff. The body design, I went with the scales that are on the rest of the bodies, because all the dragons have like the same scale pattern, it looks like, on their bodies themselves. But it's just the face where it differentiates a little bit. I think that's interesting, though. Provides an opportunity to do some more customization. Now, coloring this dragon's going to be very difficult. Indeed, it was when I was making it. See here. I'm just keeping track of the time because, like I said, when we're getting close to the end, we got the little excerpt. I pulled music and sound effects from the game. I'd actually downloaded like a bunch of the sound effects from the game onto my phone a long time ago to make a meme video. And I tried to find my website that I'd gotten it from again, or like the forum or whatever it was, on the computer, because I didn't feel like looking back through my phone all those months ago to find that huge folder of stuff. But I couldn't find it on the internet, so I had to move it all from my phone onto my computer. Luckily, I got what I needed off my phone, but I'm glad I downloaded it all then. I don't know how often I'll be able to use actual Zelda music as my background music. See, I would love to do that all the time, 100% of the time, because I love Zelda music. And I love when other YouTubers use Zelda music in the background, and I hear it a lot, especially just in commentary videos. You hear a lot of the, even just like the town themes from Breath of the Wild. But plenty of other Zelda staples you hear all the time, just lo-fi versions of it or whatever else in the background. But I don't know the legality of that, because whenever I look it up, it's like technically that's copyright, right? So I don't know. Maybe when I'm more experienced, I'll be able to work out exactly the rules on such things. But I used a bunch of music and stuff in the, I'm not gonna call it like the audiobook part, you know, the little story part that I have coming up. The rest of the movie, the rest of the video is just royalty free music. Because when I first started editing the video, I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it. But then when I got to making that part a couple hours ago, I was like, I don't care, it sounds fitting, and the sound effects and everything, so I'm gonna use the actual Zelda music. Hopefully that doesn't get the video taken down or anything like that. I hope not. I mean, it's so quiet you can barely hear it anyway. I don't know how to do audio mixing. I don't have a good pair of I don't even have a good pair of headphones, dude. That's sad. I always break my headphones, and they're always cheap ones from dollar store. I have one of those like walker things that like go over your ears, but I'm not sure how good that is at actually like figuring out how loud something is in someone's ears when they're wearing real headphones. So, gosh, I'm distracting myself by writing things in my Speedpaints. What am I doing? But, yeah, it'll be a lot of trial and error for these videos on if you can hear me, if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, if the background music is overpowering, or whatever else. I like editing videos for funny stuff. Making something where I actually am worried about the quality of the final product is, well, a different story. See, I liked making those projects, those video projects you had to do for your classes at school. I was always good at making just like stupid stuff for that. But yeah, I prefer this to be a little bit better quality and less grainy sounding, because all that, you know, you just record on your phone and on your Chromebook. Not great. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering this one time I actually made music on BandLab, you know, the free like MIDI platform. I made music for a video for school instead of just downloading royalty free music. Very non like dramatic music or anything, just like funny. Like I made a little funny bossa nova just for the background. I should probably find that again, because I could use that one of these videos. It's a very short thing. Maybe I'll do it for like an intro outro type of thing if I ever make enough videos to justify having an intro and an outro. We shall see. The thing is, I'm not too good at making music either. Like, I can't master anything. I don't know how to do all that. It's like math to me. That music theory, it's like math. I did try to take classes for this type of stuff. But man, am I bad at math. I can't do that. I do stuff by ear. But my ears aren't great. I was never meant to be an audio person or a musician, that's all. Although I do love listening to good music. Like Tears of the Kingdom, and other Zelda music as well, but especially Tears of the Kingdom, since it's the most recent favorite of mine. I cannot listen to the music of the cutscenes, or just the music in general, without crying Okay, actual tears of the kingdom coming to my eyeballs and running down on my face. A little bit wacky, because when I'm listening to music, and I'm not even watching the cutscene, I'm just listening to the music, it's just so good. It's so good that it brings tears to my eyes. I'm not even sure if it's like, just because it's emotional music, it's just so good that I cry because it's so good. You ever seen something or heard something that's so beautiful, you just cry in response? Because that's how I was when I watched that movie, Song of the Sea. That's a good movie. I recommend you watch that one. Beautiful visuals, beautiful music. It's the guy that, gosh, I had the hiccups. It's the guy that, did the soundtrack for Coraline. That's it. Bruno, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's spelled Coulais. I can't pronounce it. I also love Cecil Corbell's things. I heard about her, or learned about her, I should say, from The Secret World of Arietti. Beautiful music. Great stuff for the Renaissance Festival. Now I listen to a bunch of her stuff on Spotify. That's great. Oh, here we go. A bunch more scales. It looks like a giraffe, sort of. I don't know. I'm kind of happy with how it turned out, for how quickly I was trying to get through this stuff. By this point, I was so ready to be done. You can see that I haven't textured all the rocks surrounding the crystals on the back. Don't worry, I'm coming back to that. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, man. My fingers are still cramped up from working on this project for days. I need to... Can you hear that? Ooh, I'm sure you can hear that. That was my skeleton. Ew. I did try to make the tail parts slightly varied, slightly different. I made it a little more fanned out to look a little bit more like the end of maybe like a dolphin tail or a manatee tail. Yeah, manatee, I'm thinking of that. Just slightly less like long than it is on the other dragons. I don't know. There's some variation in the tail like you can see with Ganondorf, so I figured why not put a little bit of variation on there. This background, I just took a screenshot. I went in Linnero, I backed Link up against something so that you couldn't see him, and I took a picture. And it was just perfect. It's beautiful. That game is so gorgeous. Took one picture. I didn't even need to. It's just gorgeous. But anyway, because I'm not a background artist, I will probably never be a background artist. I just went into the game to take a screenshot for the background instead. But I think the ending effect actually looks nice with that. Effect. Oh my gosh, effect. Actually looks nice when I do that. Oh my gosh. I can't talk. I can't speak English. This is not good. As soon as I got into conlanging, I've been mixing up words and numbers for some reason. Numbers. Like, I'm reading them in the wrong order. I'm reading them in the reverse order. Like, how did that happen? I don't even know any other languages. I just started looking into conlanging, and my brain, like, got a little tangled up in the wires in there. I still haven't untangled them. Hopefully one day I can fix that problem, because, oh boy, it is a problem. You may be wondering why I'm making green the base color. And that was just so it contrasted with the background, so I can make sure I'm not like coloring outside the lines when I'm filling this in. This is just a base for me to color over with a clipping layer. Why is this paused for so long? There we go. I probably was just eating something when I was drawing it. You'll see soon enough, coming up with the colors for this dragon was a chore. I did not know what to do, because I didn't want to deviate from Mipha's colors too much, but I didn't want to just do one for one what her colors were, because that's not how the dragons work. I mean, the only part of the light dragon that's Zelda colored is the hair. So, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I decided to make the main, like, glowy bits, like her horns and her, spikes in her nails, be the color of the secret stone of water that she would have swallowed, right? So, especially now you can see this part looks very much like Zona, but that's just because of the green background. That's not staying. Zona, What? Yona. I mixed it up with Zonai, sorry. But, I'm probably gonna keep to that theme if I make any more dragons. Where the secret stones defines the color for the horns and the antlers or the spikes on the back and everything. That rule doesn't really apply to Zelda because she, well, yeah, because her secret stone, it's yellow. Yeah, it's yellow. And her stuff is blue. But I should have considered that, actually. Because I could have made Mipha's here, like, all her horns and spikes and everything. I could have made that red. And then her, like, interior color, like, the color that she glows from beneath, would be blue. And, like, more of a cool toned blue, not so much the warm toned teal kind of blue that Nature has, to kind of differentiate it. I probably should have done that. Then it wouldn't have looked much like Mipha. But again, it's more about what they look like Draconified. The color scheme can completely change. I don't know, you tell me if I should have done a reverse on those, where the interior glowing color is, blue, like the secret stone, and the horns were something else, or vice versa. Because what I ended up doing is that her interior glowing color is a pink, like a reddish pink. I tried not to make it look like an evil one, like Ganondorf, though, like not too malice colored, just like pink, like hot pink. And, though, yeah, the horns and stuff were blue. Put it around her eye. Look, she's got that eyeshadow. I'm gonna make that eyeshadow red later, just to try and bring more of that red back in. You know what else I really like? This band named Puggy. It's this little French band. They tour around Europe and stuff, but they don't come to America, at least not yet. No world tours that I've seen. Because they're not that big. Well, they're big over there. They're on the radio and everything. I love their music, though. I'd love to use that as background music in some of these videos. Don't worry, I'm not going to forget about her frills under her chin there either. I'll get back to that. But they've got some fun music. Again, just worried about copyright. I actually emailed them once when I was really little because I was just telling them, oh gosh, I really love your music. You inspired me to try and get a guitar and get into guitar. I play guitar like I play piano. I'm definitely not as good at it as I am on a piano, but when I play it, I'm like one string at a time. I can't do chords, and certainly not bar chords. I have tiny little hands. But I can do like Bella's Lullaby, and like, I could do Gerda Valley if I practiced. I just can't do it very fast, but like I know the notes for it. Like the single note part, not like the strumming part, like the flamenco sounding strumming. I wish I could do that. That's very impressive. It's a good duet song. But yeah, maybe I should send another email to Puggy and ask them if I can use their music with credit in YouTube videos. 'Cause I love their music. More people should hear their music. They actually emailed me back when I emailed them when I was a kid, which is the crazy thing. And it was cool. I know they'd read it because they're like, I'm pretty sure it was the drummer who had responded to me. But he had like mentioned things that I'd mentioned, like trying to get started on a guitar and other things that I'd written in email. So I think they actually saw it, and they took the time to make a personal response, not just some automated response, right? So that was really cool. That was really cool. Core memory. I should get back into writing. Because, like, I enjoy it when I do it. But when I try to write on my personal projects, it's difficult. because the world always feels underdeveloped when I'm the one who made everything from scratch, which is why fanfiction was always a lot easier for me, and that I was able to just pump out one after another, because everything I really needed to know for it was already pre-established. She kind of looks like a slug with this texture, but I'm happy with how it turned out. Well, I'm going to be getting into that short story in a minute here, so I should probably leave it at that. I hope you enjoy the speed paint. I hope you enjoy the little scenario I have come up here. Tell me if you like it or not, because it took me like a couple hours to write. That's kind of pathetic, like 5 pages, a couple hours to write, but I did actually proofread it to make sure there weren't any grammar mistakes. I didn't really proofread it to try and think about, is this paced well or not? But when I was reading it, I'm like, this is fine. So, it's okay. Not my best, but it's not that bad. The problem is my narrating it. I'm sure if there was like a good narrator, it would sound a lot better. I'm not particularly good at narrating. I don't really like my voice. But anyway, here we go. It's the timeline of the Age of Calamity. Calamity Ganon is defeated, but the victory is not without casualties. As Link delivers the final blow, Calamity Ganon, now more powerful in his completed form, consumes the hero in malice, mortally wounding him and shattering the blade of Evil's Bane into pieces. Princess Zelda rushes forth to seal him away and gather her hero into her arms. Mipha is not there. Neither are any of the champions, as they are still piloting their divine beasts, as was planned. Though Zelda, with her divine powers, is able to purge the malice from Link's body, the wounds they leave behind are grievous. For a moment, Zelda believes her knight is lost. Her eyes trail to the sight of the broken blade in horror, its image like a bad omen reflecting the fate of her hero, and no voice comes from it to reassure her. But something chimes on the Sheikah slate at the princess's hip, and in her desperation she remembers the Shrine of Resurrection that the Sheikah had uncovered and restored not long ago. She makes use of the teleportation rune to take Link there, where he is interred below Mount Hylia in the solemn hope that one day he will awaken again. She carries his broken sword with her in the hopes that she will be able to return it to him then. When Zelda informs the champions of what happened, Mipha is expectedly devastated, but the loss of the hero isn't the only thing Hyrule has to grieve for long. Rather counterintuitively, the malice plaguing the kingdom worsens in the wake of the Calamity's defeat, and a gaseous gloom begins to seep from the very ground itself, making people incurably ill and causing more monsters to prowl the wilds, attacking small villages and making travel unsafe. Princess Zelda and her champions recover quickly. They don't have time to rest or mourn, and frustrated they delve under Hyrule Castle to investigate the source of this new outpouring of evil. There they find a strange, mummified corpse, held at bay by some unfamiliar magic in the form of an arm, which falls away from the body, disturbed by the newcomers. Something drops from the arm, a secret stone, skittering across the ground towards the champions, and Zelda picks it up. She has no time to examine what it is. Ganondorf is awakened. He turns towards them, laughing joylessly, his voice bitter over the defeat of his long-suffering calamity. "Where's your hero to save you now?" he spits. Zelda bows her head, as does Mipha. Rivali knocks an arrow, and Urbosa sneers as the familiar jewelry that adorns this wretched corpse shines in the low light. As she and Daruk prepare to attack, the ground begins to rumble. It crumbles away beneath Ganondorf. His form disappears into the ground, and soon after, the floor caves in under Zelda, too. Urbosa lunges for her at once, and in a flash of light, the secret stone transports the two of them away. Rivali dives for Mipha, lifting her into the air just as the ground gives way. Daruk braces himself, but suddenly a hand, The very same Zonai hand that had seemed only an illusory remnant of some ancient magic a moment ago pulls him away from the ground as well. The remaining champions are engulfed in a bright light, and the oppressing presence of malice and gloom is dissipated. When the light fades, the group finds themselves in yet another ancient space, far above Hyrule, the Room of Awakening. The ghost of the first king of Hyrule, Rauru, is there to greet them. He explains to them everything that has transpired. How Princess Zelda and their fellow Gerudo champion traveled through time to his own era, the imprisoning war in Ganondorf's grave conquest of Hyrule, the failure of the sages to defeat him in the past, and his own sacrifice to steal the Demon King away. He bestows upon them each a secret stone, which acclimates to their natural abilities, amplifying them. He tells them of his revelation of why they had failed before, and how Zelda had made him realize they had been lacking one vital component in defeating Ganondorf, the sword that seals the darkness and its wielder. He knows that Link fell in the fight against Calamity Ganon, and that he slumbers in an ancient shrine. The princess told him everything. He urges the champions to do their best to stave off the corruption of gloom until the hero is awakened again. There is not much time. Then he tells the champions one final thing: the fate of their beloved Princess Zelda and the consequences of Draconification. They are horrified, but they pledge themselves to fighting the consequences of the upheaval so that Princess Zelda's sacrifice to restore the Master Sword is not in vain. Each champion returns to their people to combat the disasters that have befallen their homes. Mipha returns to Zora's domain to find it plagued by a toxic sludge, poisoning her people and threatening their very livelihood. Prince Sidon is still much too young to be of any help, and Mipha finds that there aren't enough hours in the day to tend to all of her citizens, far more numerous in an era where the calamity was thwarted. Despite her efforts, and the amplification of her powers by the Secret Stone, the Zoran princess is exhausted and guilt-ridden by the suffering of her people, and the loss of Link. If only she had been there, she could have healed him. There is worse news to come. The next time the champions convene at the Shrine of Resurrection, checking to see if the hero has been healed yet, they are given awful news. According to Pura, Robbie, and their fellow researchers, they estimate that Link won't be healed for at least a century. Even then, they say his memories may not be recovered when he wakes. Mipha is heartbroken by this news, and her guilt intensifies. She returns to her people, losing sleep from the demands of combating the sludge, and her powers faltering under the weight of her sorrows. She's lost her dearest friend, Princess Zelda, Urbosa too, but most of all, the Hylian she had fallen in love with and had never gotten the chance to tell. She's a Zora. Mipha would still be there again to meet him in 100 years, and long after too. But time is short. She knows that without him, Hyrule is doomed, and the kingdom cannot wait as long as she can. She thinks about what Princess Zelda sacrificed to save her people, and as the Princess of the Zora, she knows what she must do, too. She returns to the Shrine of Resurrection one last time, hoping to empower its waters with her own healing abilities to wake the hero by means of her Draconification. Then, as the Draconic Guardian of Zora's domain, she will be able to cleanse its lakes and springs, never tiring from her task. She removes the secret stone from her jewelry and swallows it. And that's Mipha Draconified done, finally. As you can see, I made a couple last-minute adjustments. I didn't bother recording those, just like adjustments to the eye color, for example. I wanted it to be yellow because her eyes are like brown in real life. In real life. In the canon game. And just a couple more adjustments to the shading. And that was that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like the finished product. And maybe one day I'll make the other champions Draconified as well.